You're going to start, just look over here and
Okay,
start with the camera. It's less intimidating. Not that you're intimidating,
No.
but just in
I'm
general.
very intimidating.
Okay, so start out with telling us your name and spelling it out so we can have it for our titles.
Sure. So it's Mollie Stone, and it's Mollie, and then Stone.
Okay, and can you tell us about your position and why you are here today?
Sure. So I'm a choir conductor and also an ethnomusicologist, and I teach at a bunch of different places. I work at the Chicago Children's Choir. I'm their director of world music, and I also conduct an ensemble of kids who are middle and high school aged. And then I also work at the University of Chicago. I conduct a women's ensemble there, and I also work with the University Chorus, which is a big ensemble of students, both undergraduate and graduate, faculty, staff, and community members. And then I also teach for an organization called Village Harmony, which does programs all over the world. It brings people from over the world to various countries that have singing traditions, and it enables them to study with master singers and teachers. And they spend a whole week putting together a concert program, and then they go on tour performing around that country. We also do those camps in the US for teens and adults. And then I'm also a director for the Chicago World Music Chorus and the Brooklyn World Music Chorus.
That's a lot.
It is. I know. That's why I'm tired.
So can you just tell us a little bit about the event today, what the kids were brought in to do, and why you felt it was important to teach them?
Sure. So in all my spare time, I travel often to universities and colleges, and occasionally I work with children's choirs as well, and I do workshops on South African choral music. Sometimes I also do workshops in other types of music, but South African choral music is my real heart's passion, and teaching it, I think, really changes the way people think about music. I think it's very important. So today I worked with the children from Sound Company, and yesterday also. We did a workshop yesterday, and today then we did this concert. And even though I spend a lot of my life doing classical music, one of the things that I advocate really strongly is that world music belongs on the stage alongside classical music, and that studying the music of other traditions is just as important as learning our own Western classical music genre. And not only is it important, it makes you a better musician to learn about all different styles. So it makes you a better classical singer or instrumentalist to learn about other styles of performing. But also for young people, I think it's really important that they learn that music is not just an art form that is something like preserved in a museum. You know, we talk about classical works as though they were written hundreds of years ago, and now we sort of resurrect them, and it's all about what's on the written page. And I like to show them as well that music in other cultures lives and breathes and changes on a daily basis in a way that's really powerful that we don't really see here in the same way. Teaching South African music gives kids a chance to learn music in the oral tradition, which is sometimes and adults especially, we're very paper trained in the US, classical musicians, and learning music from other cultures, learning in the oral tradition is a really interesting idea, and many people are resistant to it. They think they can't do it, and then they're amazed when they can do it. Also, South African music has dance movements, which is, it's not like choreography. The movements are a part of the singing, and that's something really new. A lot of people who think they can't do movement actually find that they can do this kind of movement really well, and that because it's connected to the singing, it opens them up to whole new ways of being a musician and using their body to support the sound. Also, what's really important to me is that South Africa has a really unique musical tradition in that South Africans have always used choral music to create social and political change throughout history. So I want to teach kids about the fact that music isn't just powerful because it makes us feel, which is extremely powerful, but it's also powerful because it can be used as a tool to make the world a better place. And so from the time of colonialism all the way up through the anti-apartheid struggle and to the current struggle about HIV and AIDS in South Africa, South Africans have used music to educate people, to spread information, to protest the government's unfair and unjust policies of oppression, to provide comfort and support to people who are suffering, to preserve their cultural traditions amidst oppression, and also to raise money and awareness about issues. So the ways that they use music it just transcends anything that we learn when we're trained classically, even though actually in many periods classical music has been used in similar ways, but we're not really taught about that very often. In some ways, it's like music is supposed to be this this thing that is disconnected from life in a way that it shouldn't, I don't think it should be. So, and I see kids develop an interest in learning about things that they never thought they were interested in before when they get exposed to it through music. Kids who think they're bad at languages suddenly get really interested in learning the click sounds in South African languages. Kids who are interested in learning about different cultures suddenly realize, oh, there's a country with like way more racial complexity than just blacks and whites. You know, that's sort of what we think of apartheid, but in fact there's a lot more different cultures that are a part of South Africa. And also just, I mean, there's just so much about South Africa that's amazing. The geography is really incredible. Its history is really interesting. Its music is really interesting. So I get to watch kids come alive on so many different levels when they learn this music. It's not just about music, which is really cool. Can you tell I have a lot to say about this?
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? No? Well, do you have anything else to say about the event?
Yeah, I think, well, I guess the things that I always say to people that are so important about music is that I also really hope that we can raise a new generation of people through music that are open to learning about people from different cultures, and especially people from cultures that they are raised to think negatively about. And that I've had many really lucky experiences in my life where I've gone and studied in countries where we share very different beliefs. We meet each other through music, and we spend an intense amount of time making music together. And it may be that we hold very different political beliefs and religious beliefs. And had I not had the chance to make music with those people first, I would never have thought that I could forge an honest friendship with them because there were too many important issues we disagreed about. But in fact, through music, you can form incredibly deep relationships because you share this part of yourself, your identity, your culture, your language, the music of your ancestors. And when someone shares that with you, and when you take the time to try to do it well, it means something so deep. And then it creates a space in which you can then start to address those complicated issues from a place of love and a foundation where you've already shared a really important part of yourself. And that is such a better way for people to get to learn about people from other cultures, rather than how it's been done forever, where, especially in our country, we learn about other cultures on the news, and we're taught to think really in black and white about other cultures and their beliefs. And I just think that if we empower young kids to learn about other peoples through their music, that there's just no way that we can continue to bomb each other and destroy each other and go to war in this kind of way that we have always done. I really think that music is the best hope that we have for creating a new generation that thinks in a much more peaceful and community-building way. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It was great to come see your concert today.
Thank you, guys.
I didn't know quite what to expect, but it was so...
I didn't either really know what to expect.
It was good.
These things are always very different depending on where they are.
Go-to guy. Get excited. Have fun. All the way to South Africa. Or are they singing I know. It's creepy. It's just like a pre-show thing. No, I just wanted to touch it.
I had been told about the power of music, and I had felt it in that it brought me together with the other people around me. But when I was in South Africa, I saw how an entire people can come together and spontaneously burst into gorgeous four-part harmony singing, and sing about all of the pain and all of the hopes and dreams that everyone in their community was experiencing. And the ability of people to come together and sing that way, you could see so clearly how it mobilized people to take risks to fight for freedom. You could see how it enabled people to sing to comfort each other when they were suffering. You could see how it gave people a sense of bravery to stand up and protest against the way that their government was treating them. And you could see how, in coming together and singing, people were educating the next generation to not only value their culture, but preserve it amidst horrible oppression. And
getting to see these things firsthand was in itself amazing. But also, I just happened to love the sound of the music. When I first heard it, it was like it got inside of me. And the time that I first heard it in South Africa was so different than in America. When I first heard it in South Africa, I got to see a whole auditorium of school children spontaneously start singing this gorgeous song that we had learned back in the States. It didn't sound anything like what we heard when we got to South Africa. But we had learned in the States, it was like, and then we got to South Africa, and they're like, shallows. And like, everybody just starts filling the hall with this gorgeous sound, and we stood on stage and we were like, how can they do that? And these children, all ages, were singing in 4 parts, and there were solos, and there was ululation, there were people crying out and making the sound of a train, because the song was about the train of freedom coming to South Africa. And the school children came up to the edge of the stage, and they reached their hands up to us and pulled us off the stage and started to sing with us. And we sang and danced for over an hour, just continued singing this song. And we watched each other, and we tried to move like them. We tried to shape our voices like theirs. And it was an incredible exchange. It was such an amazing way to share music. It would be like doing a Handel's Messiah without instruments. You can't do it that way. The music and the singing belong together. And it's such a hard concept for Americans to understand. But today, when we were just going over the voice parts, the kids couldn't sing them without dancing. And I was like, yes, I get it. It's so exciting. Now, you don't actually have to be a singer or a dancer to participate in these songs. In South Africa, it is true that almost everyone does sing and dance, but they don't consider themselves singers and dancers. It's just part of everyday life. So I hope you will be brave and join in with us a little bit. So I'm going to bring these fabulous singers up here now. Come on, my friends. For sponsoring this event and for giving us a chance to get to work with each other and perform for you guys today. It's very exciting. Just so you know, the kids who are up here are actually part of 2 different ensembles within Sound Company, which, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 4 different ensembles.
Correct.
Right? 4 different levels. And this is the older 2 groups. So it's really exciting for me to get to work with this range of ages as well. Especially in sequence. I'm very into sequence, as many of you know. Yeah. They have wonderful click sounds in them. So we got to actually learn some of the clicks and words with clicks in them today. And I'm sorry for those of you who are taking these children home afterwards. They might be in the back seat for a while just being like, and they'll just be sitting there saying random words and trying to click at you for days. But I promise it'll go away eventually. The singing won't stop though, sorry. So they now know about that. They also, the first song we learned is a folk song. It's a Zulu folk song. And it's a song I learned the first time I went to South Africa. And it's about a crab. So, literally, not a crabby person, but a crab. This is my impression of a crab. The song is called Unonkala, and the words are Unonkala, Uyadidiela, Emilanjin. And it talks about crabs congregating by the river in Zulu. And you'll notice that this music has 4 voice parts. It's kind of like Western classical music in that we have a soprano and an alto and a tenor and a bass part. And you'll also notice that a lot of these songs have a call and response song structure. So one part will have the call, and then the other parts will sing at a different time. And in this song, you'll notice that the sopranos will have the call, and the other parts will have a sort of background part that goes separately. But I'm going to tell you a little trick about this song. You should study it, because you're going to have to dance it with us. What's tricky about this song, and what's really cool about this music, is that when you sing music in a call and response structure, you're not in the same place at the same time with what you're singing. And the movements change when the sopranos change what they're singing. But for the other parts, nothing signals them when to change their movement, except they have to listen to the sopranos. This builds really great listening skills as a musician, when you actually have to listen to the other parts in order to know what you're doing. So this is Unonkala. We're going to sing it once for you, and then we're actually going to have you help us with our crabness. Okay. So.
Unonkala. Unonkala.
now it's your turn. So, stand that up. You don't have to sing, but you have to help us with the crab movements. So, this actually is not a crab. So you have to, it's very fun. So all you're gonna do, it's not hard, they're gonna show you. Ready? It's like, we're gonna say it's like, you put your right foot in. Right, okay. So you guys, let's see, you're doing your right hand.
My
So you
phone
guys
is
are
under
gonna
my
do
chair.
your left hand.
Remind me of
So
this.
you're us, right? So we plug in here. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna do right and left. No, sorry, that's the other way, right? Your left and then right. There we go. Just keep following us. And the trick is to figure out when you switch to 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. Back to this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you switch to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you go back to 1 and 2. They look good, don't they? And 3. And 4. And then you switch to 1, 2, 3, and 4. This counts as your gym workout for the next round. 3. Well, we're getting excited. 1, 2. That's all it is. So now here's the game. So the game is you get to dance it with us. You can sing along too if you want. But dance it along with us and see if you can. Always had a black guitar player or a black instrumentalist playing the keyboard, and basically all of his groups were very multiracial, and this was really frowned upon by the apartheid government. And so Johnny Clegg wrote this incredible song in the style of a traditional Zulu folk song or religious song called Asimbonanga. And this particular rendition that we're performing was performed just recently as a flash mob by the Soweto Gospel Choir. And I'll give you the story behind this. The translation to the song, it talks about basically when Mandela was imprisoned. How many years was he in prison? 27 years. And Mandela, while he was in prison, you know, while a lot of these fighters of the freedom struggle were in prison, nobody got information about where they were being kept, where they were being held. The government really did a lot of terrible things in terms of hiding people away and torturing them and not giving information to families. So this song talks about Mandela and it says, "We have not seen him. We do not know the places where he stayed. We do not know where he was kept. And then there's a second section that says, hey you," I like that part, "hey you, and you, and you, and you also, tell me when will we get to our destination? When will we finally arrive at a place where we have freedom?" And what's kind of remarkable about this song, there's 2 videos that I told the kids about, which a lot of them went home and watched on YouTube. It's an amazing time we live in when you can just tell people about something and they can just go watch it immediately. But the first video is of Johnny Clegg performing this song, which he performed all during apartheid. And then suddenly after Mandela is released, he starts singing the song and Mandela walks out onto stage. And it's the most magical moment. Having sung this song about we don't know where our leader is being kept, we don't know what he's going through, we haven't seen him. And then suddenly he comes out on stage. Not just comes out on stage, but comes out doing his Mandela dance and smiling, and just, it's the most beautiful moment. And such a celebration of watching a song evolve. Because the song was sung during the struggle, full of angst and hope and doubt, and then all of a sudden the struggle ends and you have this resolution, and then you get to sing the song with joy. You get to sing the song with a sense of pride and success. The other video is of the Soweto Gospel Choir, who's one of the most famous and wonderful South African performing groups that tour abroad. It's quite easy to find them performing in the States at various points throughout the year. When Mandela passed away in December, they put up a video of themselves doing a flash mob of Asimbonanga in a grocery store, in a Woolworths in Johannesburg. And it's particularly beautiful. Now, I was telling the kids, when we usually see flash mobs on YouTube, and I know all of you have probably seen flash mobs on YouTube, it's usually in like a big open space in a shopping mall, right? And like one person like walks into the middle of the food court and is like, oh, I don't even know what they would be singing, right? Because I'm all about that. The choir in the grocery store. Okay? They're hard, but you're going to do great. I know
Bye.